Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today we're doing something a little different. Today we are actually going to be talking about Colourpop. And if you watched my last Colourpop video that I did, which was several months ago, this video today may come as a surprise to you. I actually have not purchased any Colourpop products. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I have not purchased any Colourpop products since my last Colourpop video, which I believe was in February, and that was the Wild Child collection. And I kind of discussed my anti-haul of Colourpop and my reasons as to why I hadn't purchased Colourpop in a long time. So if you're wanting to know a bit of a backstory, I'm going to try and link the video somewhere here in the cards or in the description box below. But anywho, today we are going to be talking about some new Colourpop products, and specifically we're going to be talking about their new Totally Nude collection in these eyeshadow quads, and also their cheek palettes or face palettes. Totally Nude collection with their eyeshadow quads launched last week from when I am filming this. Since then they've launched a new collection, the Zodiac sign eyeshadow palettes, which are also in quads, so those just launched yesterday, as is with Colourpop. They launch something new pretty much every week. But when I saw the promo photos for these specific eyeshadow quads, they really caught my attention. They're nothing like super out of this world or super, different or anything like that. They're neutral palettes, neutral cool tone, neutral warm tones. But I don't know, something about the shades really caught my eye. I do love neutral eyeshadows. I also like dabbling in a little bit of color, but like I said, something about these quads really caught my eye. As soon as I was able, the first thing I did, and you would know this if you've been watching my video, is check the ingredient list to see which one of the palettes I could even use. And luckily for me, I think none of the quads had carmine. Yeah, they released 6 of these quads in the Totally Nude. I purchased 2, and at least the 2 that I purchased don't have any carmine. I want to say the other ones also didn't have carmine, but I'm not 100% sure. So the 2 quads that I purchased, the first one is the Dare to Bare quad, and this is more of a cool toned neutral palette, and they are all matte. They come in this plastic packaging, which doesn't really have any magnetic shut or anything. It's just basically the plastic thing that closes it. And the second one that I got, I think this one was actually the one that pulled me in the most, is called Down to Earth. And again, we've got 4 matte shades, and if they look swatched, that's because they have been swatched. So if you follow me on Instagram, I posted swatches of this quad specifically, and those swatches blew my mind. Super pigmented. I am also wearing both of these palettes on my eyes today. I created this look using these 2 palettes and also used the blush palette. For the eyeshadow quads, like I said, there are 6 different shades. I have 2 of the 6, and these retail for $9 each, so not a bad price. I would say not as affordable as we are used to Colourpop being. They do have their 9-pan palettes that go for $12, so you're getting way more shades, almost double if not more, for just a couple dollars more. So keep that in mind. But I feel like the formula in these are different. Like I said, the swatches that I did specifically on this guy right here blew my mind how pigmented they were. And I'm going to insert a picture of those swatches somewhere here on the screen so you guys can see them. But let's go ahead and swatch the Dare to Bare palette. So we'll do this together. And these shades do have names. So this shade right here, which is kind of your like highlight shade. Again, it's a matte shade. It's called Stunning. This one right here, Got to Do It, Truth Or, and this one right here is Your Gutsy. We're gonna go in with that lightest shade first, and you can see that is super pigmented. You do get quite a bit of kick up in the pan, so do be aware of that. I'm gonna swatch 2 at a time. So I'm gonna go into the one right next to it, and again, that's Gotta Do It. So we've got those 2 right there. So we've got those first 2 shades right there for you. And then next we're gonna do Truth Or. and the darkest shade, which is your Gutsy. Okay, they are pretty flaky. Is flaky the word? Powdery. I'm getting like pieces of it falling here on my desk. So anyway, on my ring finger and my pinky finger are those two deeper shades. Okay, and we've got the two deeper shades right over here. The reason why it looks like that is because I swatched it a little too low and then went back up to try and even it out. But look how pigmented those shades are. So this is the Dare to Bare palette. And just so you guys can see, look how much pigment is still left on my fingers. So I did full swatches and I did apply some pressure to those shades, and we still got that pigment on my fingers, which is impressive. I would say Colourpop's eyeshadow formula, their pressed eyeshadow formula, is pretty good. At least from the palettes that I've used and from what I remember. Like I said, I don't use it very often. But something about the formula in these quads is really different. Like I said, I did use both of these quads for the eye look that I have on today. Unfortunately, as I was filming, I realized when I was done that my camera was off the entire time. I guess when I pressed the record button, it didn't start recording and I didn't notice. So I apologize for not being able to show you guys the application. However, a couple of things for you to note. Number one, when going in with these palettes, I would be careful how many times you're dipping in. The shades do give a lot of kick up in the pen and also on the brush. So I did, you know, after the first time that I did it and I realized, oh, that's a lot. I did go in a bit lighter and also tapped off my brush that I used before I went in on my eyes. So I'll kind of walk you through these shades that I used just to give you an idea. So I went in first with the Truth Or shade from the Dare to Bare palette, and I went ahead and applied that kind of right above my crease, almost on the brow bone, as kind of my first shade to lay it down. I then went in with the Down to Earth palette, and I went in with this shade up here, which is called In Time, just kind of tapped over the other shade that we had laid down. I've been using that technique a lot more after watching Rose from Rose and Ben on Instagram do that technique, and I feel like it's really helping achieve a more smoother eyeshadow application. So I just went ahead and tapped that over so you can kind of see that like more orangey color on the top peeking through. Next, I went in with this shade right here called The Senses. And I took that on a more denser brush and used that in this outer corner portion of my eyelid and blended it into the crease while also dabbing back into this shade right here and using that to blend in the crease and kind of mesh those two shades together. I then went in with the black shade, and the black shade really surprised me. It is super pigmented. I would say be really careful with what brush that you're using and also how you're dipping in and applying. I luckily had no fallout, so that's impressive considering the formula on these. But I took this brush actually and just barely dabbed into it and used it to create this kind of smoked out black liner. And for the lid shade, I dipped into Stunning and did that on the inner half of my lid and went back in with this guy right here and kind of tapped it in between where the two shades met to blend it all in. Lastly, on the lower lash line, I went in with this shade and just took a smaller brush and went ahead and lightly smoked out the lower lash line. Applied some mascara, and this is what we came out with. I really love the all matte look. I love the way the colors all blended into each other. They don't look, at least to me, they don't look muddy. They were really easy to work with, and I felt like I really didn't need to do a lot of blending. You just set it down, moved it around a little bit, and you were done. So really caught me by surprise. So as of right now, I would highly recommend these. If you have not tried them already, I would say go for it. Right now, they are only available on the Colourpop website. I did check at Ulta and I did not see them at Ulta because it's a newer release. It's probably not on the Ulta website yet. And the other item that I tried out today is Colourpop's cheek palette, and this is At First Crush. And these guys, they already had some cheek palettes or cheek quads, but they came out with 4 new shades, and these are more face palettes. So these guys include 2 blushes, a highlight, and a bronzer. And I really didn't, I want to say I didn't realize that when I bought it. I just assumed they were all blushes and this was a highlight. When I bought it, the ones that they had released prior, I think were all 3 blushes and the highlight, and maybe that's why I didn't really pay attention to the fact that that was a bronzer in it. Also, as I was doing my full face, I forgot that this had a bronzer and highlight in there, so I didn't get to use it. With these face palettes, these newer ones, they have 4 shades for different skin tones, and these are $12 each. I did use this as my blush today. I dabbed into both shades, and they do have names. So this one right here is called Butterflies, and this one right here is High Infatuation. I thought that said High Inflammation for a split second. I was like, wait, what? Why was it called that? The highlighter shade is called A Flutter, and the bronzer is called Giddy Like. So I did go ahead and apply those blushes already. It gives me a really nice flush so far. Again, found it easy to blend. Didn't find it clinging to anything or being patchy. And I would say I've had this blush on for at least a half an hour, most likely more than that. So far so good. You can actually do a little bit more. So I'm just dabbing in, and we can do a little bit more depending on your preference. So you can see there. And then the highlight here looks like it'll be a little too dark for my skin tone. The other thing, when I purchased this palette, I didn't realize that I think I bought the deepest of the 4 shades of them. I was really just looking at the blush shades when I bought it. I wasn't paying attention to the highlighter. And if I'm not mistaken, this highlighter is supposed to be a Super Shock. So I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, I think it is a Super Shock. So that is it on my middle finger. Wow, that is gorgeous. Let's go ahead and swatch it. So that's it swatched right there. It's a bronzy color. Yeah, that's definitely going to be too deep for my skin tone. I hope you guys can see that. What if we just, maybe just a little bit here, right over the blush, and see what that does. I haven't used the Colourpop Super Shock highlight in a while. Okay, I feel like that added a nice glow, not too much. I feel like maybe I could get away with this if I just don't do too much. I'm not seeing it give me a cast or anything like that when I'm looking straight on, but let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Let me go ahead and do a swatch of the blushes here, and I'm going to swatch those on the inside of my hand. I hope you guys don't mind. Okay, so those are the 2 shades. This is the more peachy. See, I still have that pigment on my ring finger here. So this is the more peachy shade, and this is the more pinky shade in the palette. So you can see really beautiful colors. I think they would work for a variety of skin tones, depending on how much you apply or how hard you go in with your brush. So all in all, I am really happy with this Colourpop purchase. I may need to put Colourpop back on my radar after trying these out, or maybe pick up a couple more of these, or maybe 1 more of these, and see if the formula is consistent, because so far 2 out of 6 are great. I think the Down to Earth palette is by far my favorite right now, especially, you know, with the summer ending and fall coming up. This screams fall to me, and these rich earth toned shades they just do something for me. So as of right now, if you were going to pick up one, I would say pick up this one. Again, this one's called Down to Earth Quad. All right, so if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.